Is your CRM a well-oiled system that is supporting you in achieving your business goals? Or is it just a disorganized pile of contacts left to their fate? 3 common mistakes you should avoid when setting up your CRM and how to design a scalable structure that helps you leverage data to achieve your goals. Ciao and welcome to my new video. Today I want to share with you a clip from one of my consultations. It's part of a series of calls I had with a service-based business, and I want to share it with you because I'm sure it can help you understand how to make the most out of your CRM system. If you don't know me already, I'm a business automation consultant and I help managers and entrepreneurs automate their processes so they can save time, reduce the overwhelm of the team, and improve the customer experience. A quick premise before I show you the clip. The CRM system is a fundamental part of your tech stack, and it helps you ensure the effectiveness of your processes. However, too often it's just a disorganized pile of contacts with tags and automations that the team no longer understands, information stored aren't used, and it's basically just a useless piece of tech. How can you avoid this? How can you make sure that your CRM system is serving you and your team in achieving the business goals? In the clip, you'll see 3 common mistakes that I often notice when auditing the CRM systems of my clients. And then I'll show you how you can build a scalable structure to make sure that you store data efficiently and that you leverage it in your processes. So let's get started. Let's start with the CRM structure and the mistakes to avoid. As I mentioned, this is a fundamental part of your tech stack. It's the backbone of your system. And when I say a scalable structure, I mean the following. Sometimes I see people setting up lists and tags and fields in a way that is not efficient. One simple example is too many lists. Sometimes people use lists to segment the contacts. For example, they have, they created an online webinar to promote their service. They have, of course, the people that sign up to that webinar, and they create one list specifically for that event. What happens is that if they have multiple events, they are going to have multiple lists. So they are actually using the list to segment the contacts instead of just using the list as the main buckets. I always recommend starting with those 2 lists, customers and prospects, and that's it. And then I will explain to you how you can segment your audience. So lists are just for categorizing contacts at the macro level. When it comes to the micro level, meaning prospects that have a specific interest or customers that bought a specific product or service, I'm gonna explain to you in a moment how to do so. The second mistake is wrong field types. A lot of times they use the text field type because it's more easy to set up and so on, but that causes a lot of duplicates, values, and data that cannot be leveraged in automations. I recommend using drop-down fields because you ensure that the data entered is standardized. For example, when current students wanted to change their enrollment and you ask the reason why. Sometimes music schools have a text fields, but that causes a huge variety of answers and many of them are duplicated. If we consolidate those values into a drop-down, you are going to have a standardized reasons why they wanted to stop or change the enrollment. And since you have that, you can also create a report. Setting up the right fields, values, and tags allows you to leverage the data in automations. It's already, I think, the 3rd time that I say this, but I wanted to put a screenshot so you can understand what I mean by that. So this is an automation, an active campaign automation. Specifically, this is the trigger. So the condition that fires off the automation. In this specific trigger, I put that the contacts field drop down. This is the name that I put. Changes from option 1 to option 2. if you have a drop-down menu, you can even set up an automation that is triggered when you change that value for that specific contact. And then you can set up a whole list of actions in the automations. You kind of can't do that if you have a text field. So
right.
What I mean is that if we set up the right structure with the right type fields type, we are able to trigger automations when needed. And the last one is no naming convention. Whether it's a tag, an automation, a newsletter, a field, whatever, naming things properly is fundamental, because when you start having tens of automations, tens of tags, and so on, it's very easy to forget what that automation is for, or what the tag is for. Your account is going to explode. The naming convention helps you to organize and categorize all your assets in your ActiveCampaign account. But it's not only related to ActiveCampaign. This is something that we have to do for every tool. I created this one to explain visually what I mean with scalable structure. We have the list that are the main buckets to categorize your audience. So I always recommend starting with prospects and customers, two lists. Inside this list, we are going to have contacts. And each contact have fields and values and tags. And then we have segments. A segment is basically a group of contacts that meet a set of conditions. These set of conditions are fields and values. So as you can see here, I created, as an example, a segment with the following fields. Student type contains Kindermusik, and student location contains 𝗳𝗂𝗂𝗍. This means that we created a segment of students that, of families that have at least one child enrolled in Kindermusik in a specific student location. So this way, we are able to create several segments based on the type of communications that you wanted to send. And this is how we segment your audience. We don't use lists as segments. For example, we don't create a list for Kindermusik in level 1, another list for Kindermusik level 2.
I'm using that, using the tags and stuff now, and I actually made one of the first mistakes by having a list specific. And then I went back and went, oh, this is going to be hard in year 2 because now it's confusing. So now I've sort of gotten rid of the old way of doing it. But when you enter contacts, you immediately have to make sure that you tag them as you enter them. Is that correct?
Yes, meaning the way that you enter new contacts in ActiveCampaign right now is manually. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Usually I create a form that is connected to an automation that does all of this. I give a form so they know what info they need to insert. And then this form connected to an automation does all the things, meaning updating stuff, sending emails, blah, 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 whatever. So, so that your team doesn't have to think about, okay, what list should I add this contact to? So it's a way to streamline the act of inserting contacts into ActiveCampaign. Let me know in the comments below if you have any feedback or questions about the clip that you just watched. And in case you wanted to learn more about business automation and about the process that I follow to help my clients, you can download my business automation guide. You'll find the link in the description below this video. In case you are ready to automate your processes, you can submit the application form that you find beneath this video. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next ones. Ciao!